Now, the government, as we've been reporting all morning, says it wants to bring in a minimum price for alcohol to help tackle binge drinking on cheap supermarket booze. Every year, it's thought about 3% of people show signs of alcohol dependence. Joining us now to talk more about that, Dr Niall Campbell, consultant psychiatrist at the Priory Hospital in West London. Good morning to you. Is alcohol addiction, rather than just simply alcohol abuse, a growing problem that you're seeing?
It's a huge problem. It's a tidal wave which has taken over the country, fuelled largely by availability and cheap alcohol. We're seeing it at all levels of society. The second problem is that the help available, unfortunately, with the NHS, because of restrictions in their resources, is pitiful. And therefore the problem gets worse and worse.
I wonder what quite we mean by alcohol addiction, because I mean, we all have an image of alcoholics, don't we, having a scotch with their breakfast perhaps in the morning. But I mean, there are lots of functioning alcoholics, aren't there? People who have a dependency and don't necessarily even have to acknowledge it.
Indeed, what we're seeing are the consequences of drinking, the consequences to your physical health, which creeps up on you slowly, your mental health, your social health, your work health, people coming into work late, worse for wear, not functioning properly. And it's often whenever these things have actually caught up with them and people realise they've got a problem, often it's too late. But
when you have
this is sorry.
But I was going to say, Dr Campbell, when you have people who are functioning alcoholics in that sense, do you think that they will be affected by something like minimum pricing? Because that obviously is affecting, you know, the cheap booze, the cheap cider in the supermarkets, and not perhaps those people who are drinking 1 or 2 bottles of decent red plonk of an evening.
I think that as psychiatrists in addiction, we'd be very sceptical that this minimal pricing will do anything. I think we see it as a bit of a government tax to get more money. He's a bit desperate for money at the minute, isn't he? And this is a way of getting it. If he could say, OK, we're going to take the extra revenue and put it into alcohol services, it's OK for people who can afford to come somewhere like the Priory when they realise they've got a problem to sort it out. But if you're in the NHS, getting help is extremely difficult. If more resources were available, possibly funded by the extra revenue which he's going to get, then that would be a good thing. In any case, I really doubt when you look at the way people who drink cheap booze drink that this is going to make any difference to them at all. They will make sacrifices to get it and just carry on, I'm afraid.
So what does need to be done, in your opinion, then? I mean, we're talking about, and everyone acknowledges, don't they, we're talking about a culture change here, but that is hugely difficult to implement.
I'm not a politician, I can't make the decisions. I'm only really at the firefighting end whenever we're trying to do something about it. What I'm saying is that they need more availability of help, plus a restriction to get to alcohol. It's become more and more available in the petrol station, in the corner shop, everywhere, all practically 24 hours a day. And you've got to restrict that somehow. They say they're doing it by pricing. I doubt that that's going to be effective. But what they do need to provide is more help for people who want to seek help for the drinking.
A brief thought about people with problems, if you would. I mean, is it fair to say that actually we can all look now and say almost most people we know are drinking much more than they should do?
Is that your friends?
In all seriousness, though, when you look at 21 units of alcohol a week for a man, most people I know who drink far more than that.
The government tell us that people are drinking less. That is not my experience. I'd agree with you. I think people are drinking more disposable income. It's relatively cheap. And that's the problem. They're drinking more and more. The 21 units thing, I'm afraid the people I see that are honest with me do drink more than that, hence the problem. The more alcohol you pour into the population, the more health issues, the more employment issues, and the more crime issues you're going to see.
Dr Campbell, really good to get your views this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.